And in this final episode, we're going to be talking about tips 23, 24, and 25. They're not really tips. It's really bringing everything together that we've discussed and empowering you, parents and caregivers out there, to take a whole new approach to loving on, caring for, and being that parent to your child with anxiety or OCD. Welcome back to our final episode of Raising Resilience, 25 Tips for Parenting a Child with Anxiety or OCD. I'm Dr. Josh Spitalnick. I'm the practice owner of Anxiety Specialists of Atlanta. I'm a licensed psychologist, board certified in cognitive behavioral therapy, and I have with me my colleague, Marti Munford, licensed professional counselor, and more importantly, my co-author. This has been an awesome journey going through these 25 tips. And in this final episode, we're going to be talking about tips 23, 24, and 25.
So let's jump right in with tip number 23. Tip number 23 is so important. It's an easy one to skip, but I would say it's one of the most important things for you to actually do as a parent, and that is to celebrate and praise the wins. All of them, no matter how big, how small. And I think that this is a drag, right? It can be tough to parent an anxious kid, and it can be tough in the day-to-day moments with an anxious kid. And so you've got to celebrate those wins, the wins for yourself, the wins for your kid, the wins when your family just gets a little bit of their functioning back. That is critical. And so learning to celebrate those things in big and small ways is absolutely one of the most important things you can do as a parent.
Really, Marti, they're celebrating becoming an anxiety specialist, which is a pretty awesome thing to say.
Congratulations.
We're proud of that. And if you've gotten that out of these videos, then really congratulations, because that means you're now starting to think the way we think, which is learning to live with fear, not in fear. Learning to take things head on that feel scary, but they are safe. Recognizing that when you have bad thoughts, scary thoughts, inappropriate thoughts, they don't define you. And if you believe that and think that, you will exude that when you're working with your child and not doing family accommodations, not giving in, and extending them the grace and space for them to fumble on their own or to succeed on their own. And if you do that, my goodness, please praise yourself, praise your partner, recognize those successes in yourself. They will extend down to your child, the siblings in the home, and the people that are supporting you. Please, please, please praise.
So tip number 24, we've talked about this a little throughout our series. Anxiety is slippery and it's going to change and morph. Don't feel like everything is new. Don't feel like you have to start over again. Be ready to apply the same skills over and over and over as new themes pop up.
We hear about content doesn't matter, and I really do think you and I in most ways mean that. But some content does matter when there's a lot of shame, embarrassment, guilt, real dread, real loneliness. Content does matter, but at its core, anxiety is anxiety is anxiety. Remember that episode we did where it was just about T's, O's, and C's? I don't care what anxiety disorder you have, everything falls either into category 1, category 2, or category 3. And the beauty of that is, if you apply things like exposure therapy, like we talked about in the last episode, or acceptance and commitment therapy, reducing family accommodations, even taking medication, those experiences don't just apply to that one thing you came into treatment for. So when we treat someone for social anxiety or OCD or panic attacks, we're not just treating them for that. And if we're working with you, mom and dad, we're not just teaching you how to treat that one issue. We're trying to teach you actually a skill and a mindset that generalizes and plays out to all areas where fear, avoidance, rituals seem like the way to go, and they're not.
So when you are thinking long term, there's a tendency to want to think of anxiety and really push it to be like the flu, right? I had anxiety, I had the flu, I treated the flu, I don't have the flu anymore, right? And instead, it needs to be thought of as a lifelong learning process of, what do I do when things are tough? Because new things are going to be tough, really good things are going to be tough, and it's important to be able to think about what is my total perspective as both a parent and for your child in order to face the world long term.
Of course, people want to know, can I be cured of my OCD? Can I be cured of my anxiety? I don't think it's a term that we even use around here. It's can you manage, can you handle? Because if you remove some of the bad stuff of OCD and anxiety, it's just fear. Welcome to the club. Everybody has fear. Everybody worries. So we're not invested in the concept of it never coming back. We're invested in the concept of if and when it comes back, do you know what to do? And that's much more empowering. That means you don't have to be surprised when something shows up. And when it changed topics, like you know it does, Marty, you're ready to use the same skills with a different kind of thing. That's why we talk about whack-a-mole. You know, when you go to those video arcade games and you're playing whack-a-mole and hitting that machine, and you know the game's over and it's still popping up and the sounds are going off and it's all chaotic. The only way we know how to be whack-a-mole is to either unplug the game or to turn around and go do something more fun and more life-affirming. And then whack-a-mole is going to be waiting for you if you ever go back. So we know that. We know that anxiety can come and go. It can shape-shift. It can look like something else. And the reality is most of the things we've talked about in these 25 tips and most things that people are going to learn in therapy apply to all the areas of anxiety. And that's why we love to be able to call ourselves anxiety specialists.
And this brings us to our final tip. Tip number 25, woo, is that there is a system that you can build. There are key ingredients to getting better, to building resilience, and to helping your kid live a strong, happy, successful life.
That platform, that protocol, that formula is different for every family. But there are some base elements that you've heard throughout these 25 tips that are critical. And I think as we talk about in our own practice, as you see here, things of props that we have on here, it all starts with love and kindness. And if you start from that place, you can use humor, you can use compassion, you can take breaks, you can step away, you can practice skills, you can do breathing, you can use relaxation, and you can totally mess up. But what you can't do is not have any plan in place to try and navigate uncertainty, fear, anxiety.
We're so glad that you have been a part of this and that we were able to share this information. We are going to hopefully be able to continue to share information with you guys here, so we'd love it if you continue to subscribe and follow our channel. We're going to continue to put resources in the notes, and we hope that you'll continue to follow along and hope this has been helpful for you.
It's been an honor to write this document with you that was used, published, and sent out by the International OCD Foundation, I believe in their spring 2022 quarterly issue magazine. It's been shared online by some near and dear colleagues on YouTube, Nathan Peterson. We really appreciate you doing that. And we thought it's time to sort of get this out to even more people, so more families like ours have access to what we think are some of the do's and don'ts and the best practices of caring for, loving, and raising resilience in your child with anxiety and OCD.
If you like this episode, feel free to like and subscribe so you can keep up to date with everything else that we put out on our channel.
Any questions about our set you want to ask? We got some weird contraptions here. If you zoom in, you might see some stuff here as well. What number is on the dice? What number's on the dice? That was not accidental. We also want to give credit to someone behind the scene. We won't name her name, but we'll just call her Double M. You are a rock star. You've been amazing. You've helped us so much. And it's been a joy working with you. So this was not a two-person operation, and it's been a lot of work here. So congratulations, Marty. I wish I had like one of those poppers. It goes, psh.
We did it! Yay!
So 25 tips. We're going to get it out there, and hopefully you guys will see this real soon. Take care.